This is a video where we journey back. We're going to where my love for video games first began. Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis. I was about 4 years old. Up to this point, I had never played a video game. Going over to my friend's house, he showed me his family's Sega Genesis. We popped in a little game with a blue cartoon hedgehog on it, and this changed me. A simple side-scrolling platformer with a little blue hedgehog ignited a spark in me and started my video game journey. I was mesmerized at how fast you could go and how colorful the worlds were. But how does this first game hit today? Just as strong? Let's take a little look back at this game, if you will, and what makes it so special. From the very beginning, we're hit with this epic theme jingle that has lived in my head rent-free for as long as I can remember. I learned this jingle probably around the same time as Hot Cross Buns. And on top of this catchy jingle, we get an epic pseudo 3D ocean with mountains in the background, and you can't forget the main hog himself. He's blue, he's got tood, and he's fast as heck. I mean, look at this guy and his hard wagging finger. Like, you know you have chores and other life stuff to do, and you shouldn't be playing, but I'll let you play if you press the start button. But before we hit that button, reading the original instruction booklet, I learned something that shatters the whole of Sonic lore. I'm a big proponent of Shadow being faster than Sonic, and the biggest argument I hear is Shadow's only fast because of his shoes. Well, guess what? According to the instruction manual, Sonic's power sneakers are why he's so fast. Eat it, Sonic simps. All hail Shadow. So anyways, we hit the start button and BAM! We're greeted with quite possibly the most powerful banger of a first level in the history of gaming. Green Hill Zone. That music, oh my gosh, that is music. To this day, it's one of Sonic's most iconic tracks, and in a series like Sonic, which basically just has banger soundtrack after banger soundtrack, that's saying something. And it isn't just the soundtrack. This level hits in all the right ways. You not only learn the basic controls just by experiencing the game, but you learn about the collectibles like rings and these little item boxes, as well as springs and such. These things show up in front of you so you know to hit them, and they even are hidden sometimes, so they teach you to be on the lookout for secrets. This level is bright, colorful, with lots of grass and flowers. It's just sort of filled with this odd form of nature, even adding things like boulders and waterfalls. But I mean, the ground itself is like a checkerboard pattern. What kind of dirt is that? I guess I don't really care, because I like it. And just as soon as you start appreciating the world in this level and the style it exudes, which is pretty substantial, you realize, hey, everything in this level seems to be trying to kill me. The plot is essentially all the animals have been taken and inserted inside these robots that shoot at you constantly and appear, honestly, sometimes quite literally out of nowhere. You have to defeat the robots and save the animals, so that's your goal. Not to mention that the levels are filled with their own hazards, spikes specifically, literally spikes everywhere, but thankfully they're also on Sonic's back, and he can spin through it all. Enemies, walls, you name it. This hog is unstoppable if you're fast enough. Especially when you get the magic sparkles of invincibility. You can just fly through the level, basically. Green Hill really lets you get a sense of speed, which is what makes this particular level shine. It's so good and iconic. So every world in Sonic has 3 acts. The first 2 function as platforming high-speed levels, and the last act having you battle the evil Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman. Cuckoo-cuckoo. You meet him in that large paintbrush end of a mustache, and you know you gotta thrash him. What's that you say? He's the one who shoved all the animals and robots? Well, let's kick his Robotnik. The music of the boss fights is just fantastic. It needs to be said. But anyways, he does nothing but swing a big ball at us. Nice try, Eggman, but your balls will never touch me. I beat him, but of course he flees. At least we get to save a bunch of animals from this machine. But this will lead us to the Marble Zone. First impressions of this level don't hit as hard as Green Hill, if you ask me. It's still colorful, but not as vibrant and fun. It's a bit more serious, like the stakes have been raised. Mostly I think it comes from the fact there is lava everywhere, and that you'll die instantly if you drop into it. The floor is literally lava. What the level does have is a really cool sky effect. I just wanted to point it out. I love how the clouds look. Unfortunately, we spend most of the level far below it. This is the first level where the pace really slows down. Sonic focuses far more on platforming than he does running as fast as possible. It's not bad, but you definitely feel the slowdown. I much prefer running fast and responding with my reflexes as opposed to waiting for lava falls or blocks to move. They do give you a little extra move, which is pushing stuff. Yay. Oh, and don't worry, we still have billions of spikes in the levels in case you were missing them. Some even on these chains, chandelier-like things that can crush you. It's perfect! A cool detail you can spot is noticing that enemies can sort of fit the vibe of the level. We get the introduction of bats and such. It's small, but it makes it feel like this is their environment. Also these caterpillars, which I hate. I really dislike how sometimes the level will give you a false sense of speed. Like you'll start moving fast and then it hits you with a wall and you have to change directions. It doesn't really hurt the game, it's just a minor tweak I would change. And alas, this world culminates in another Eggman fight. This time he's trying to drop his fireballs on us. I don't know what it is with him throwing balls at us, but like the last time, I ain't even touching it. We beat him, he flees, same song and dance. Happy animals, yay! Dropped in the next world, Springyard Zone. A metal city with the vibe of construction. If the pace was slowed down in Marble Zone, it's even slower here in the Springyard. Not only do you have to wait and platform in certain sections, but the design of this level will do you dirty with springs shooting you backwards and traps like spike balls everywhere. I gotta be honest, this is probably my least favorite zone of the game. And don't get me wrong, the music slaps with that dun 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 doodle-doo-doo, beedle-doo-doo. But the pace is just so slow, and to be honest, though there's a cool purpley city backdrop, the worlds have been super colorful and vibrant, and this one takes on a rusty poopy color palette. Is it a bad level? Not really, actually, but I just think the combination of things I don't like culminate in this level, with the worst offender being these spiky balls rotating around a platform and you have to either have enough speed to get out or completely stop and land on this platform to get out. It's just so slow and almost guarantee you take some hits. There was even a point I legit got stuck in this loop of springs and bouncy things that just tested my patience. All that being said, I actually like the Eggman fight in this one. I felt it could be really fast, and Eggman incorporating a spike on this feels like he's learning. But now that leads us into the Labyrinth Zone. Arguably one of my favorite tracks from the game aside from Green Hill. There's just something so bouncy and fun about it. That melody is so strong. This is a level where I got mesmerized by what's happening in the background. Like, what are these hieroglyphics? They look like Whizpig. And also the special crystals everywhere, it just feels so right. Normally I hate water levels, but Sonic does it in a unique way. It does slow the pace, but it doesn't force you to swim or change the gameplay. It actually makes you want to go as fast as possible and make sure you're oxygenated with the bubbles of life or else you're gonna die! And that music, when you're potentially drowning with a countdown on screen, is basically a way to get any kid to have anxiety issues. There may be spikes everywhere, but honestly, I didn't mind it. All the little robots, they're special. You have little fish and these spiky guys that pop out of the ground. I just adore this level, and it felt totally different and fresh. And who doesn't love the little animations of Sonic sliding down a waterfall? It's, dare I say, cute. Which, this is something I didn't talk about yet, but Sonic's animations are top tier. He's got attitude. If you stand still too long, he'll throw it your way. He's so expressive based on what's happening. He's got so much style, and this level gives you a feel for all of it at some point. And the boss fight? It's a chase. We ascend as Water and Eggman does as well. Man, does it make you worry. You're just looking to push for better or worse. But of course we get to him, and he flees. And now, Starlight Zone. I'm not too sure how we get here from the Labyrinth Zone, but I do love this one. Another banger of a track. Probably number 3 on my list. There's this dark city backdrop, and you just feel on top of the world. It's a cool touch how they changed it up. Instead of having pads or springs bounce you, they introduce high-powered fans that blow against you. This level's a bit more open, and you have moments of going fast, because speed is the game. I definitely appreciate the balance in this level of platforming and high-speed sections. I mean, who doesn't love a good old loop-de-loop? These little seesaws with spikes on them, such a cool idea that feels right in place with the momentum of Sonic, and adding verticality, I love it. And of course we have some special enemies like these guys that explode. They suck though. And that boss fight against Egghead? It's a spiky ball seesaw lover's dream. It's actually awesome how they incorporated an element of this level into the fight. I really enjoyed it. Now, Scrap Brain Zone. Another banger of a track if you're not surprised. It almost feels like an addition to Eggman's theme. The aesthetic of the level is also great, like an evil robotic city. How fitting. Like the level before it, it feels like it has a good blend of platforming and running fast, with the exception of these freaking switches and steps trying to get out before the top closes. That element brings the level down. It sucked. I have no idea how I got past it, but I did, because I don't quit, and I don't run, and I will be Hokage. I thought the rotating floors offered a fair challenge with flamethrowers at the end for good measure. And look at these cute little piggies with bombs! I can't stay mad at them. Aww. Also, Robotnik trapdoors us. How rude. We basically drop down to Labyrinth Zone again. This must be like the sewers under the city or something. Nasty. I bet it makes Sonic smell. Progressing through, we hit this final fight. Eggman descending and ascending on these little metal presses trying to squish us. But he's too slow. We beat him down and he flees. Back to Green Hill for a reprise of the main theme with all the animals we saved. Oh, happy day! But that's not all. If you don't get all the Chaos Emeralds, Eggman taunts you with the ones he has. The Chaos Emeralds are found in these secret bonus levels you can access by entering these giant ring portals at the end of a level. The minigame is bizarre. You have to navigate as Sonic in a ball form to the Chaos Emerald. It's very pinball reminiscent, but they don't make it easy. There are things to bounce you and reverse the way the level is constantly turning, as well as instant level enders. But if you get that sweet, sweet emerald, you do feel accomplished. I always get mesmerized by the background. It's trippy as heck, to be honest. After acquiring the emeralds, not much changes in the ending other than Eggman officially being defeated and jumping on the ending logo. Like he's mad about something. Personally, I like his little emerald juggling, but that's just me. Sonic the Hedgehog is a phenomenal game. From start to finish, it oozes style. Although it has its fair share of struggles and challenging moments, at its core, it's a fantastic game with a lot of heart. The gameplay's so much fun and easy to pick up. Every level will have you whistling their bangin' tunes after the fact, and you'll never look at eggs the same way again. Sonic the Hedgehog is a game that means a lot to me and started my whole journey and possibly the sass I was known for as a kid. Sorry, Mom. Sonic is a solid 9 out of 10. An excellent game, and maybe it was even better when it first released, but since then we've gotten a few more games in the series that seem to push the concept even further. If I didn't know what else we had, I may have said 10, but that's a tale for another day. Well, that's all I have for you. Please drop a like to help support my channel and get my videos out to more people. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future upload. Until next time, have a good one.